Welcome to the Fireside Chat for Fitness and Nutrition with Adrienne and Ken. Today we'll be talking about how to work different muscle groups and how often, as well as how to support each type with proper nutrition. Ken, would you like to kick us off here?
As usual, I would love to. So there are a couple of types of muscle fibers that are in the body, and there's different ways of working them. There's type 1 and type 2. There's two types of type 2 as well. But in generality, there's a type 1, which is endurance related. It's the specifics of them are the slow contraction rate. It's if you were to look at, let me go back, and if you were to look at a chicken, the dark and the white meat of the chicken, it's mostly the dark meat. That's the legs, the thighs. They're worked a lot, but not a real high, not real heavy. It's not a lot of force. It's just endurance related. So they're red in orientation because they have a lot more blood flow to them, because it's the energy is oxygen, and the oxygen needs a lot more vessels to the muscles. So they're more red in color than the fast twitch muscle fiber. But slow twitch muscle fiber, they have a high resistance to fatigue. So you can do something for a long period of time with them. And they have a low force production. So good examples of fiber, slow twitch fiber or type 1 exercises are, a marathon, riding a bicycle for a long period of time, swimming, jogging, anything that requires that you can go for a long period of time. Low force, but for a very long period of time. If you were to say, the Olympics are coming up here pretty soon, so if you were to say what type of Olympic sports would be a slow twitch predominantly, it would be the marathon. That would be the ultimate slow twitch fiber, because you can go forever and the muscles don't really tire out. So the fast twitch, the type 2, are very explosive, and they would be the white meat in the chicken, the chest and the wings. They fatigue very quickly. They're predominantly the larger muscle groups in the upper body, and larger muscle groups in the lower body as well, like say the thighs and buttocks. I'll get back into that as well, because each muscle has both. All muscles have both fast twitch and slow twitch. But let me get into the specifics more of the fast twitch. So fast contraction speed, so it's real quick. It has low fatigue resistance, so it gets tired really quickly, and you can have a high force output. So weightlifting, powerlifting, sprinting, that would be type 2 sprinting. So you can't do it for very long, but you can do it real fast. You can do it quick, and it requires a lot of power. Shot put, the javelin, those are all type 2. Those are all type 2B. So there's type 2A. I'll go into this just briefly. Type 2A would be, if it was an Olympic sport, the type 2A would be the 400-yard dash. So the 400-yard is my son did it in high school, and he said it's a sprint over a long distance. It's a killer. It's one of the worst. He didn't like it, but it's one of the worst races because it's a sprint speed, but at an endurance sprint pace, but at an endurance level. Anyway, that would be the type 2A. Type 2B again would be like the 100-yard dash or the 40-yard dash or the powerlifting where you do the bench press, 1 or 2 repetitions. That's the type 2B. So how you train and the body, all the muscles again have different levels of different of both of them. So, and you can train them to have more of one type than the other. Let's say, for instance, if you go out and you run 5 miles every day, you're going to have more slow twitch or type 1 muscle fibers in your thighs than you will fast twitch. But if you go to the gym every day and don't really do a lot of aerobics, and you do a lot of weightlifting or powerlifting or things that are in short bursts, you'll end up with more type 2. So it just depends on what you want. Do you want to be endurance oriented, or do you want to be power oriented? So do you want more muscle mass or not? And that is related to, there's a typing of body types, and it's just a generality, but there are a generality of 3 different body types: an ectomorph, an endomorph, and a mesomorph. Have you heard that? You heard about that? So ectomorph is more endurance related. They're lean. They have a high metabolic rate typically. And again, nobody is a pure ectomorph. Nobody's a pure mesomorph. Nobody's a pure endomorph. But this is just the generality of it. So ectomorph is very lean. It's really good at endurance related activities, and has a lot of type 1 muscle fiber. An endomorph would be the opposite. Actually, mesomorph would be the opposite as far as musculature. Mesomorph is very muscle bound, very high amount of type 2 muscle fiber, and puts on muscle fairly easily. An endomorph is it's kind of a hybrid of the 2, sort of, but it's more rounded. They have a slower metabolic rate, and they have a mix of type 1 and type 2 muscle fibers. And but again, everyone is a mix of each one of those. There's not a pure endomorph, ectomorph, mesomorph, but it depends on genetics, and the training depend on how much you have of each one. So if you're born more of an ectomorph, you can put more muscle on depending on how you train. You just you train with weights more. Now, briefly, how do you train for type 2, type 1 and type 2? Type 1 is more endurance related. You can do it every day because it's endurance related. Not a lot of muscle fibers are torn when you're doing endurance, because it's not real hard for your body to do, and you can do it every day. Again, it's 20 minutes. It involves the muscles of the lower body and nonstop, and I think that's it. Yeah, then you can do that every day. Type 2 training is at least every other day, at least 48 hours in between, because when you train type 2, when you lift the weights specifically, it's not the actual muscle that we're lifting that makes your muscle stronger and bigger and more efficient. It's the rest in between, because when you lift, you tear your muscles apart like this. The rest is when it gives the body a chance to rebuild and repair itself and say, hey, I'm going to do that better next time. So it's so you want to train no more than every other day, every 48 hours. And then when somebody gets really good at it, they'll do split routines, and they'll do they'll do 20 sets once a week of a body part, which is they spend 3 or 4 hours a day just on chest. But that's not for the normal person. Normal person can do 2 to 3 times a week is fine. 2 times is good. 3 times is slightly better than for as far as strength training. Again, aerobics is every day, 5 to 6, 7 days a week. And then strength training is 2 to 3 times a week with the type 2 muscle fibers. So do you have any questions?
With the body types, you mentioned that you can change them to a certain extent, but genetics plays a role. Are there certain activities that benefit or are most suited for each one? Like, would the ectomorphs be great at running marathons? I think you mentioned that. And then the endomorphs would be better at like shot put or power activities. And then mesomorphs are kind of mixed.
So ectomorph you're right. They're really endurance oriented. The mesomorph has a mixture of type 2 and type 1, and more predominantly type 2. So they're really good at shot put, javelin, so forth. Endomorph has a mixture of the 2, but they have a slower metabolic rate. So it's a good one for them would be it would be like powerlifting. So
that could be their superpower.
That could be their superpower. Correct. That's correct. So those would be if you're looking at Olympic style activities for each body type. Again, like I mentioned before, we're not predominantly one or the other. We're a mixture of each one. But yes, you can. If you're an ectomorph, you can transform your body into more of a mesomorph just by lifting. You can put on muscle and have more type 2 than type 1. So if you're a mesomorph, you can do a lot of aerobic training and get, you'll lose muscle mass, but you'll be more endurance related. So, and same for endomorph. If you do one or the other, you can do that as well. So diet and training and really do have a big impact on how your body is how it reacts and what it can do in the future, basically.
Body recomposition, right? You can change these things.
You can change these things. If you're unhappy with your body, you can change it.
Mm-hmm. I think those are some really great tips on how to do that. And then also, because so many people don't probably understand what type 1 and type 2 fibers are, and then the subset of the A and the B, essentially, really helpful. To help support you nutritionally, on strength training days, generally we can benefit from an increased focus on protein intake because, as Ken mentioned, there is the muscle tear and then it needs to repair and then grow. And so you're going to need more protein for that. Again, check and see how much you're already getting, and you might already be getting enough, but if you aren't, something to focus on. You can include things like plant-based proteins such as legumes, nuts, seeds. You can also have things like chicken, fish, beef, if that's what you want to eat. And all of that can help with your strength training. But on the other hand, a lot of times for cardiovascular activity, we are sweating, we're losing a lot of fluids. So we really need to focus on adequate hydration. And so you might want to include things like electrolyte-rich beverages, and I'll put some links to some that you can do at home, just so that you can avoid the sugar-sweetened or the artificially sweetened beverages out there. But also you just want to make sure that you're getting enough water to begin with. And most people think that they are, but they're not actually getting enough water. So track it. And then generally, as we say, like about half of your body weight in ounces of water. But again, when you're doing cardiovascular activity, you might need to bump that up based on time duration if you're outside and it's 92 degrees out, those kinds of things. So think hydration for cardiovascular activity and think more protein for strength training.
Perfect.
Anything else to add?
I don't. As with each time that we end this, the consistency is key for sure. And also, if you like what we do, hit that like button and subscribe and share. We'd like to help more people.
And I love consistency, but also I want you guys to take action on something, because a lot of us spend so much time gathering information, listening to different podcasts and everything. And I really want to encourage you to anchor in one thing, whether it's, oh, I have been doing more strength training, I am going to check my protein intake, and then post that in your comments if you'd like. Additionally, any topics that you'd like us to cover, throw that in the comments too. And then we will look forward to tackling those during future podcasts. So in the meantime, we hope that you stay happy, healthy, and consistent with whatever you've chosen to do.
Yep.
Take care, everyone. We have a 90-day VIP program, and this is all about knee surgery prep and recovery. So we want to make sure that you have the best outcomes by having your own virtual personal trainer and your own dietitian nutritionist who's going to help coach you. So by integrating these services that we're going to offer with your doctor's care, you will have a lot of potential benefits, including customized diet and exercise plans to help you get ready for the surgery, and then afterwards the surgery, dealing with things like inflammation or limited mobility and how to get that strength back into the knee, for example, and the muscles surrounding it. We can also help create routines that focus on strengthening certain specific muscles, like I said, reducing inflammation and excess weight to help your knees not be so stressed out. And we're also going to improve flexibility and enhance your overall health. What else are we going to do, Ken?
Well, yeah, you said a lot. That's good. Injury prevention and rehabilitation for sure. If you're getting scheduled for knee replacement, let's just say, you want to strengthen those muscles around the joint so that it's easier for you to recover. So the stronger the muscle is before you go in, the easier it is to rehabilitate that, because it's already programmed. It's already programmed in the muscle and in the nerves and so forth. So it's a good thing. You want that. Your muscles want that. They desire that, and the rehabilitation will be so much easier. And with a trainer specifically, we can guide you. I can guide you through the proper form and techniques in reducing your risk of further injury as well. So, what else you got, Adrienne?
Another great benefit of this program is that we do everything virtually. So you can get your virtual health coaching and your virtual personal training so that you can do it from home, from your couch,
Don't have
we're
to
there
go
for
anywhere. Don't have to go anywhere for sure. Yeah, that leads into motivation and accountability. So we provide personal one-on-one motivation and support, and with regular check-ins, and we track your progress and set you up with goals and make sure that you're on track and making the progress that you need to make in order to go forward.
And a key part of this is that it's holistic too. So there's a difference between going to our doctors or our orthopedic surgeons and, getting news that we're going to get a surgery, and then just kind of like prepping in terms of having some meals made or people to kind of help out. But what you really want is to have this combined dietary part and this personal training part along with your doctor, so that you have all three on your team. And by doing this, clients can have better posture, they can lose weight, reduce inflammation and pain, have increased strength and overall well-being. So you are like hitting the ground running. So you're prepping, you get the surgery, and then you're done and you have support to just get on with the rest of your life. So right. I think it's a great program.
I do too.
And it's only $14.97 for the whole 90-day program. And it includes one-on-one support with your nutrition coach and also your personal trainer. You'll get 9 sessions total. And we are here to help you thrive.
Yes, we are.